Hello everybody and welcome back to Pathfinder Plays and my segment Random Questions from the Dead Matter Discord, where I answer the questions you didn't even know you had. Let's begin. Another Artist004 on Discord asks, will semi-trucks be drivable? And Regicur says, I don't believe I've seen a drivable semi yet, but there are some cargo trucks you'll be able to use. Yazur says, hey there, I had a question that I don't think anyone has asked before. How is snow going to work on the game? I know the map will be based off Calgary. Will the snow accumulate and make it difficult to use vehicles? Haunting Hank says, weather will affect driving conditions, but there won't be snow accumulation. Two questions here. Can you place items around a claimed base, for example a shotgun by the front door or a handgun on the bedside table, asks VLTG Zeus, and Haunting Hank says you can place them down, but item persistence is still being worked out. Opium asks, and if there isn't a map button, will you have pre-made ones for people who want to use one in a mod? And Haunting Hank says there will be maps that you can find in-game. You can find those maps in places they will make sense, like a truck stop or a gas station. Opium again asks, will there be Easter eggs? Haunting Hank says yes. Vladimir Putin, the great bear-riding Russian president who was totally elected via democratic process for the millionth time in a row, asks, and will there be different zombie types? Regicur says there will be uncommon infected that are wearing great, or probably gear, that will affect how they can be killed, but no mutants or anything like that. He's probably referring to uncommon zombies that are wearing like SWAT gear or military gear, who would then be wearing a face shield or body armor. Opium! So there will be high-tier loot areas with a lot of PvP. Haunting Hank says there are high-tier loot areas, but there will be more dangers than just other players. So if you guys go to these high-tier loot areas, be prepared to not only face players. You're going to be facing zombies, you're going to be facing radiation, you're going to be facing weather, you're going to be facing animals, you're going to be facing everything. It's going to be awesome. On Twitter, Sacred Baurzy Owner asks, will you guys have RTX support? Dead Matter Game responds, maybe partial support initially. Our art team is very excited for the future of RTX in general though. I bet they are. Goizo Pogyu, or Pogyu rather. The gore system will have an option to disable it for performance issues? And Haunting Hank says, an option to disable it is planned, but that's just for censorship purposes. The gore system has zero performance impact. Clifford, will there be cooking in the game? Yes. Todd, will there be bears, moose, and beavers in the game? Moose are planned, I think bears are too. But what about the beavers, Onyx? I need the beavers. I want a beaver. Michael, will there be hordes of zombies that constantly can attempt to overrun your base? Onyx says they can form if something gives them a reason to, but there's no wandering hordes and they won't attack a base without reason. So I would assume that you can have a massive accumulation of zombies if you were to throw a light source or a noise source at a certain location that would then accumulate the zombies. But also if you're in your base and you're making tons of noise, or if you decide to raid a base and you're shooting the occupants of said base and there's zombies around, they're probably going to diverge from what they were doing and accumulate outside the base and probably try to make entry if the noise is sufficient enough. Michael, will you be able to tie players up and in a way keep them as hostage? Reggie Bless Clap says, yes, they'll be able to break out with enough effort though. Midnight Wolf SDJ, this is a kind of question/request combined. In the game The Last of Us, there were moments of the game where you have to grab a wooden plank, carry it over a ledge, drop it, and it makes a makeshift bridge to gain access to other parts of the map. Have y'all considered a feature similar to this, where in order to gain access to parts of the map, you would have to create a makeshift bridge? Havoc Hank says there will be similar concepts, but not in the form of a plank to cross a gap. They'll probably implement this a lot in the secret areas or high-tier loot areas where you have to do a little bit of extra stuff to get to that gear. It has to be something that sets it apart from other areas. Where in DayZ, the only high-tier loot you'll find is in military areas, which have a higher concentration of zombies and likelihood of encountering a player. I would assume that it would be similar to that, but I know they want to add some maybe puzzles or codes or combinations or keys or things like that in order to make it just a bit more difficult, which I would like. Vladimir Putin again asks, will it be possible to possess numerous shelters/buildings at once? Gunslinger says, you can actually, and yes, there is a hard cap, and yes, you can change it. Single player likely won't have a cap, and Onyx comes in at the very end saying the last known number for the cap is 3. So as of right now, the hard cap on how many buildings you can maintain and own is 3. Vladimir Putin. So, you can theoretically kill someone through thin walls. Reggie Bless says, yep, not even theoretically. You absolutely can. Gunslinger comes in at the end and expounds a bit more and says, yep, we got bullet drop, travel time, ricochets, penetration, all that good shiznit. Damage is based on the base damage of the gun times the velocity of the bullet. I appreciate that math, thank you. Cardinal 94. What is the approximate size of the map in the final game in square kilometers? Americ says 400 square kilometers, and that is flipping massive. And guys, that is all the questions and answers I have for you today. If you found this helpful, and if you like scare survival and scavenging, and you love the idea of Dead Matter, want to see it come to fruition and play with me forever, then hit that subscribe button if you would kindly do so. Hit that like button, share it with anybody that you think would find value in this information, and join my Discord. Link is in the description. Path out.